Hi there, it's Joycelyn Wells with Healthy Me, Healthy You, and today we will talk about forgiving self. One of the things that I struggled with the most was understanding why I made the choices that I made to do something, and if it didn't turn out right. And it really took me some time to understand not to be hard on myself or to judge myself or to feel like I've been defeated, when what I really need to do was to ask God to forgive me. I had to ask God to forgive me, and then I had to figure out how to get beyond that roadblock in my brain to forgive myself. I started doing this years ago when I found myself in some not so pleasant situations. And not situations that happened to me, situations that I chose. And I've told the story before, so I'll share a little bit now. I had a very hungry sexual appetite, right? And my way to deal with it was to deal with it. Like, I would meet someone and hang out with them and make a choice of whether I wanted to be with them tonight or be with them or not. But the problem happened, I would meet someone and then I would decide if I wanted to be with them sexually or not. But the problem was I always felt bad after the fact. And so I started asking God for forgiveness after the fact. So I would do what I was going to do. I'd ask for forgiveness, and then I keep it going. Keep moving on to the next thing. So we understand that God forgives us over and over. So my understanding is that He can see our path laid out in front of us. I've talked about that before. He can see our paths, all the different directions in which we can travel to get to being of His purpose. So He can see that. So me asking Him forgiveness and me doing these things wasn't a surprise to Him. He designed my path. So if I didn't acknowledge that He knows and He is aware of what I'm capable of or the opportunities that are presented to me, then I'm not really giving Him due credit on being amazing, right? As amazing as He is. So I would find myself in these situations and then I'd ask forgiveness. Well, here's the problem. I was asking forgiveness after the fact. So had I now collected some negative energy, it wasn't necessarily a carnal like satisfaction. It wasn't like I did it and then I was like sated and I was done. I didn't want it anymore. It was almost like I did it and it meant nothing. Like I did it, it meant nothing, and I'm looking to do it again. So what I decided to start doing is, because I was like, damn, I keep asking forgiveness over and over for the same bullshit. Like, is He going to get tired of me? God, is He going to get tired of me coming to Him for the same thing over and over? Like, aren't I smarter than that? Don't I know I don't want to ask Him over and over to forgive me for the same thing? So that was really tough for me. The way that I became aware of it is that I was saying it out loud. Like, I wasn't in a silent prayer in my mind. I was in a verbal conversation with, okay, God, you know what I did last night, and that was really fucked up, but I needed it, and I just don't know. You know, I'm talking this out loud, and I need you to forgive me. So after you do that a couple times out loud, you realize to yourself, your brain hears you saying this over and over, and you realize, like, damn, how many times am I going to go to Him? So I had to find a different way. I had to find something else to do instead of praying after or having the conversation with God after the fact. I started having the conversation with God before the fact. Okay, you know what I'm going to do. Keep me safe. Don't let nobody kill me. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. These are genuine conversations. I have a running dialogue with God. I just put that out there. I don't keep it to myself. I put it out, bloop, put it out there, because He is available to me, and no one knows me better. So I started having the conversation before. Well, different things started happening beforehand. I would meet up with someone and then they couldn't go through with the job, or they couldn't get an erection. And I'm like, okay, this is good. All right. Then it happened and I was fine and I kept it moving. And so I started asking men when I would meet them I'd ask, like, are you worth my forgiveness? Like, can I pray about you tomorrow? Is it worth it for me to do this right now and pray about it tomorrow and ask God to forgive me. And I would literally say this to men. The funny thing is, men would be like, what? What you talking about? You got to ask for selfish for them. My intention was selfish to me, but I knew that I had to get forgiveness. I knew that I had to talk about my actions, my movements, my decisions, and even acknowledge the emptiness after the fact because it wasn't fulfilling. I knew that I had to have that conversation. So I would ask, and that saved me a lot. And it cut down on my desires for these empty pockets of nothingness, these empty pockets of misunderstanding. While I felt like I was quelching this carnal sense of me, what I ended up doing was reaching a higher sense of existing, that my purpose was larger than me wanting to have sex. My desire was something outside of sex, and I was lost in it. Sex is what I knew. Sex is what I studied. It's what I experienced. I didn't realize that my opportunities for fulfillment was outside of the boundaries of just empty sexual experiences, right? So I had to learn how to forgive myself for walking in those situations, because you find yourself in these situations and you feel like since you did it once, then you should do it again. And you did it once and you should do it again. And then you find yourself with some guy or some woman in a negative relationship that nobody even wanted. It only happened because there was this carnal connection. So me being able and bold enough to speak out loud and ask God for forgiveness allowed me to hear myself ask, and it also gave me permission to forgive myself. Because if I am saying out loud, I need you to forgive me, I understand that this isn't a behavior that I should be engaging or indulging in, and I need you to forgive me. This is how I felt. And if I could talk about how I felt going into it or how I felt coming out of it, and I'm saying this out loud, that gave me a reminder the next time I felt that way. The next time I felt like I needed to, the next time I felt like I needed to, this gave me a reminder. So when those feelings crept up again, I realized, okay, this is fleeting. And the last time I felt this way, the morning after, I felt even worse. So we have to be able to accept that we are human. We have to be able to accept that there are many opportunities along our path to put us in yummy situations or desperate situations or unhappy situations, and we have to give ourselves permission to let any of that go. We have to give ourselves permission to forgive us, and we have to do that by telling ourselves the truth about what we're in, why we're in it, and how to not go into it again. And if you do go into it again, forgive yourself for it. We're human. Our flesh is weak. It's what we do. Like, that's how we were created. And we have to understand that. So when we're talking about forgiving who we are, the first step is admitting that it happened and understanding why it happened. These situations that you're walking in, you'll get closer to being able to forgive yourself for moving, and it'll definitely save you a lot of stress on the other end. So this is Joycelyn Wells, and we're talking about forgiving self. And I'll see you next time. Thanks.